Okay, so I'll show you a couple of things out here. To continue with the topic. Okay, so basically this is what are the basic operations which need to be followed in the queue part. That is, the first one is the enqueue. That is whether you have to add any data in the queue, and another one is the dequeue. That is whether you want to remove any data from the queue. So the addition, that is insertion and deletion of the data from the queue, can be performed using these two basic functions, two basic method. One is enqueue and one is dequeue. Apart from that, there are couple of there are couple of other methods which is also important while performing any applications related to the queue. Number one is the pick, number two is full, and number one is empty. Okay, the function says that if you want to traverse any data inside the queue without any removing, okay, traversing of the data means visiting the data inside a bunch of collection of data. So that is what you call the pick method. That is, you can get yourself visit into the entire queue list and visit any particular data without deleting it, without deleting any other data. Okay, so that is a pick method, and these are kind of situational Boolean kind of the method, that is full and is empty. Because Boolean methods, what happened, it help us to find out that what is the status of the queue, whether are we in the any position of performing any operation to the enqueue or the dequeue. To perform enqueue or the dequeue means to perform the insertion or the deletion from the queue. So the first one is the is full. It's check whether the elements are all the elements are there in the queue itself or not, because the deletion operation can only be performed provided your queue consists some elements. Okay, now if there is no space in the queue, that means all of your memory address are being occupied with certain value, so your queue is completely fulfilled. Okay, and is empty. Okay, now if your queue is empty, you cannot perform deletion. Okay, you can only perform insertion, that is enqueue. Okay, so these are the basic situation that you have to remember, that two situation, whether the queue is empty or queue is fulfilled. It's something like the same situation which you have already learned in the case of the linked list. If your linked list is empty, then insertion deletion operation cannot be performed. Deletion operation cannot be performed. You can perform only insertion. So each and every concept of this data structure is somehow related to your array or related to the linked list. Okay, because stack and queue can be performed using the concept of the linked list, as well as it can also be performed using the concept of the array. Okay, so any theoretical things which is related to the stack and queue can also be relatable to array as well as the linked list. Okay, now as we have already discussed that it has a couple of things to be remembered, that is front pointer and the rear pointer, because rear pointer always ensure the back end of the queue, as well as the front pointer indicates the front end of the queue. Okay, so now as we can say, we always dequeue data pointed by the front pointer, that is always from the front end only deletion can be performed, whereas if the insertion of the value inside the queue is required, then it is always done from the rear pointer, that is from the rear end. Okay, so here is the algorithm, as you can see. This is the peak algorithm. Peak algorithm means visiting the elements of the queue without deleting it. So as you can see, this function helps the data at the front of the queue. The algorithm of the peak function is as follow: begin the procedure peak, return queue front end procedure. Okay, this is a C programming language, but the same can also be performed in using the uh, Java, because the syntax remains the same. You call the peak function and you return the queue of front. Front represent the front value, the index number, and queue is the array where all the values of the queue have been stored. So at the front index, you can identify a particular value which is present in the queue. So this is how you can perform the take operation. Next is full. Full represent what? That whether the queue is completely fulfilled or not. Is there any empty space or not? Okay. If there is empty space, then you can perform the insertion operation. But if there is no empty space, then it is not possible. So as you know, Boolean function, it will return true or false. So how will you understand? Now, since we are implementing the concept of the array inside the queue, every array has a definite size. So you have to see whether the rear end, that is the back end, is equal to the maximum length of the array or not. Okay. If the value of the rear is equal to the maximum length of the array, then it represents that your array is completely fulfilled. There is not even a single empty space. Okay. That means what? It represents that your queue is completely filled. Nothing can be returned, nothing can be inserted. Okay. And if it is not filled, then what will happen? That your rear value will always be less than the maximum length of the array. That means there are a couple of empty space where you can insert some new values. Okay. And for the empty part also like the same. Okay. That is your front value is less than 0 and your front value is greater than rear. Okay. We will see this using the programming operation. This is the NQ operation. NQ operation means the insertion of the new value into the array, into the queue. Okay. So first operation which you have to check is that whether the queue is completely full or not. Because if the queue is completely full, then you cannot insert any value inside the queue. That you have to keep in mind. Okay. So now keeping that factor in the mind, the first condition is that just like in the linked list, we see that whether the queue is empty, whether the queue is fulfilled or not. In the linked list also we used to see that whether the linked list is complete or not. Okay, because if the linked list is completed, then not linked list, in the array, if the in all the memory address of the array is occupied with certain values, then you cannot insert any new value inside the array. So the same thing has been performed here, that is to check whether the queue is completely fulfilled or not. Because if there is any empty space, only then only we can perform the insertion operation inside the queue. Okay. If the queue is full, then overflow, error, and exit. That means there is no possibility that you can insert any value. But if this second condition doesn't satisfy, that is, if the queue is not full, then there is an empty space. So this is the occasion where we can enter the value. Now what happens? See, this was the before queue. See the diagram very carefully. Initially you have A, B and the C, where C was considered to be the rear value, A was considered to be the front value. Okay. So now what happened? The D to be inserted. Now you will insert the D from the rear end, not from the front end. See this diagram very, very carefully, because the algorithm will be required while we are discussing the program also. If you can see that the D to be entered is not from the front end but from the rear end, because since A have inserted inside the Q at the very first step, so A will always given the priority of being the first value or the front value of the Q until the time when the insertion is keep on happening. When the pop out, when the A need to be taken out or deleted from the Q, that is the only occasion where the value A will lose its front position. Okay, so now the D is getting inserted, so it will come behind the C. Now when it is coming behind the C, before entering, it is necessary that rear position need to be increased by 1. Okay, it need to be increased by 1, so that one more space is allotted in the memory address, and then the Q of rear becomes D as the present value. Let me just show you the dry run to explain it properly, what the exact thing is happening. Now see in the diagram, you have this. A has occupied the first value, then you have B, and then you have C. Okay. So right now, what happened? There is no space. Considering there is no space. Okay, because maybe I need only 3 elements. Since I need only 3 elements, so there is, but considering that there is no space right now, means no memory address has been allocated to insert the new value. So A is considered to be front, which is occupying the maximum value, and then you have the rear position, that is the rear value, which is holding the value C. Now the D needs to be inserted here. Okay. Now to insert the value D, okay, you cannot blindly shift any value, just like in the concept of the linked list. So what you have to do is that you have to shift the value of the rear from C to here. Okay. Now D value can be stored how? Q of rear is the value of D. Okay, Q of rear has the value D. That is the occasion where you can store the value D. Thus, this becomes the rear value, and C lose the position of the rear value. Okay, so Q of rear becomes the D, and that is how the D is assigned into the new memory address which is present in the Q. This is the like so-called program, like the programmatic syntax, that you are inserting a new value inside the Q. Now, next come is your here is the operation. As you can see, the rear is increased by 1. See this line very carefully. The rear value has been increased by 1, so rear is equal to rear plus 1. Now what happened? The Q of rear, that is on the back end, what happened? You are inserting the data. Okay, that is the exact thing which I made you explain right now. That is, first you modify the position of the rear from its original position to the new position, so that a new memory address can be created where the new data can be stored, and then Q of rear becomes the new data. That is the identity of the data at a particular index. Okay. Next come is the DQ. Okay, understand this very carefully. After that, I will discuss with a little bit of program related to the Q. Now in the DQ, what happened? The deletion need to be performed. Now you can only perform the deletion. You can only perform the delete operation for one situation. That is, provided you have some elements in the Q. You need to have some elements in the queue, only then you can perform the deletion operation. Otherwise, you cannot perform anything. Okay. So the first condition which you need to be checked is that whether the queue is completely empty or not. Because if the queue is empty, there is no possibility of performing the deletion operation. So you can print a message of underflow and you can return. Underflow means you have the memory address allocated, but you don't have any values inside the queue. Okay. Now, moving on to delete. Let me explain this in the form of the diagram, then I will show you in the programming context. This is the original data. Okay, this is the original queue that you can see that you have couple of elements A, B, C, D, where the rear position indicates the last value of the queue, whereas the front represent the first value of the queue, that is the front value, the first value. Okay. Now, if you have to perform the deletion can only be performed. Okay, that is dequeue operation can only be performed from the front end. So you have to understand that in the queue, all the applications are actually two-way process. Why two-way process? The process is happening from the back end as well as the process is happening from the front end. But in the stack operation, what happened? The operation was only from the one end, that is from the end from where you are entering the data. From the same end only, you have to delete the data or you have to pop out the data in the stack. But in this case, in the queue, what you can see is that the operation is happening on the both the ends. That is, insertion is happening from the back end and deletion is happening from the front end. Now, to perform the deletion operation, how will you perform? You can only remove A. You cannot directly remove B, C, and D directly. Try to understand this, please. Okay. To remove the other back elements, you have to focus or you have to ensure that first element which is present on the top has to be removed first, only then the other elements can be removed. Because this is the indicator, that is the front variable or the front pointer is the indicator which is focusing on the first value. Okay. So now to perform the deletion operation, the first value which can be removed is the A. Now to remove this, just like we did in the DQ operation, if you remember the NQ operation, if you remember, to insert D, we have changed the position of the rear pointer to allocate a new memory address where D can be stored. We will perform the same technique for the deletion operation. But in this case, we will not focus on the rear pointer, we will focus on the front pointer. How? That is, the front pointer will reduce by 1 to indicate the second value as the front pointer of the modified queue. I repeat again, what happened? We will reduce the front pointer by 1 to indicate that the front pointer becomes the new pointer of the second value of the queue. Okay, so what happened if you reduce the value front pointer by 1? Now, right now the front pointer will indicate the value B as the front value of the modified queue. Now, due to this, what happened? The value A get detached from the entire queue list. Thus, it goes back into the memory heap. Okay, the value of A gets deleted. Okay, now if we do the successive deletion, then in the second step after the removal of the A, if any value which can be deleted is the next value B. C cannot be deleted before the B gets deleted. Okay, so this is your entire process of the insertion and the deletion of the queue. Okay, so let me show you a programming context to make you understand. Till here, do you have any doubt? if you want to ask anything. Anyone? Any question? Rishu, Yash, Sneha?
No, sir.
Okay. Now this is the study
No.
material which I will post very soon.
No, sir.
Okay. Now this is a question. This is ISC 2017 question which I am discussing with you. This is like implementation of the concept of the of the queue using the array. Okay. Now what does the question says? Let me just discuss formally. The queue is the entity which can hold the maximum of 100 integers. So that means you have an array of the maximum size of 100 in the array, where you can store 100 integers value. Okay. Now what does it say? What are the elements which is given? That is, firstly you have the class name called queue. You have a array called queue which can hold, or which has the ability to hold all the 100 integers value inside it. Okay. Then obviously when you are implying the concept of the array, then every array should have a definite size. Okay. And then it is mentioned that you have a real value. Now when it is given real value, from here this becomes the indication, that is, you need to insert a value. You need to insert a value. Okay. Not only that, it is also the indication that the real variable is provided to identify the value which is present right at the back of the queue. Okay. Then there is a couple of functions given out here. That is, this one is the method, that is constructor. How will you identify constructor? Sneha, if I ask you the question.
Constructor has the same name as the class.
And the very common mistake which you
And
made in the pre-board exam. Constructor has a return type.
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't have a return type. It doesn't even have the void type also. No, not even void. In the user defined method, you can have a void return type, but in in the constructor you don't even have a return type. No return type. Okay. So it can store the value. So these are the necessary details, and then you have a constructor given out here. Okay, which identifies that your front end is initially 0, your rear is initially 0, and the size to be initialized with mm may be representing the maximum size. Okay. And then there is a method of addition, add delete, probably add delete, to add the integer from the rear if possible, else display the message overflow. And then you have the integer, return the elements from the front end if present, otherwise return the message underflow, or return minus 9999. Why it is the purpose? Not need to be bothered. Okay. Now let's look at the program. What happened out here? It is being checked whether the value of the rear is equal to q dot length minus 1. Okay. Because if this condition occurs, that means it is overflow, and overflow represent what? You cannot, acha, this is add elements, you have to add an element. Now I understood. Add elements, which means that if the rear value, that is the back end value, is just the maximum length minus 1. Okay, suppose the maximum length is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. And the value of the rear is equal to 5. That means what? It means that your entire queue is fulfilled. There is no space where you can store any data. So it is an overflow situation. Okay. Or else what happened? Just like if you remember, okay, the rear value increases. The rear value increases. Why? So that the previous value can be shifted. The previous value can be shifted, and one empty space can be occurred where you can store the new value. That is, let me just show you in the form of a diagram. In the form of a dry run so that you can understand what is happening. If it is an overflow situation, nothing can occur. Okay, but if it not a overflow situation, that means suppose this is a position and this is your rear end. Okay, so presently what happened? Presently your value is, let's say, 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay, so if it is not an overflow situation, what happened? Your value of 2 need to be shifted. Okay, now 2 cannot be shifted. What you will do, the value of the rear will be shifted. The value of the rear will be shifted. How? You increase the value of r is equal to r plus 1. That increases the size of the array and create a vacant situation out here. Now out here you will store your new value. So thus this becomes the new rear value and 2 becomes the second last value this time. Okay, because rear only indicates the last value. Okay, so that is what is done. And now it is asked for the deletion also. So if your front value is equal to 0, that means the rear position and the front position is equal. That means it shows that there is no value exist in the queue. So thus you cannot perform any deletion operation and you can return this value. So this, from this particular part, I think you can understood that how programmatically the things are implemented. This is everything related to the this particular thing, array concept. Okay, now in the front minus minus means what? Front minus minus means the present front value which need to be deleted. Okay, once you delete it, then the second front value becomes the front value of the modified queue. So that is why queue of front minus minus. This is how. From the question only it is given DQ, means you have to perform the deletion. So same concept, same operation, if you can see. Okay, this is the entire program which you can read and you can easily understand also. Okay, I will post this today, the DQ concept. After that we will come with a circular queue, which is like a bit of introductory part is there, theoretical part is there for your ISC syllabus. As per here it is mentioned, where it is. Here it is. Stack we have completed, queue we have started off today, and you have little bit of circular queue and DQ. Okay, so circular queue, DQ we will discuss in details with the programming implementation. Okay, the conversion of the infix, prefix, postfix we have already done. Okay, I'll try to post as many materials as possible. Okay, with this, once we complete it, we complete with the data structure part. Okay, and then we will proceed towards some other topic. Okay, so here as we can see that there is a theoretical concept of tower of Hanoi which is mentioned in the recursion function. So once we do with the recursion process, because we need to revise it again, that time I will also discuss about the tower of Hanoi, because I discussed this topic a little bit during the concept of your stack program in the last class. Okay, with this we conclude today's class. Thank you.